I remember when my father started his regular radio show. So it was 1980. He'd been removed from the Seventh-day Adventist Church ministry, and he'd come out to Auburn, California, and there was fundings. He set up a nonprofit evangelical Christian foundation that's still going called Good News Unlimited. And the organization, bought him time on various radio stations. And my father, in his first few talks, he was doing them off of notes instead of reading his talk. And so there's a price to be paid when you operate from notes as opposed to just reading, right? So the edgier the conversation, all right, the more free the conversation, all right, the more ribald the conversation, right, the more joshing, the more locker room atmosphere to the conversation, right, the more likely you are to say something inappropriate. But the primary purpose of a TV show or a podcast or a live stream like this is not to avoid saying something inappropriate. Right? The primary purpose is to provide merit, something of merit, whether that merit is humor or entertainment or information. Right? Merit is the goal for this stream and for Pat McAfee's show. Merit can just be fun and entertaining. That's meritorious to give people something that makes them feel good. And so a more free conversation will come at a cost, as opposed to a more stilted conversation, right? A conversation that strictly follows journalistic protocol, there's a cost to that too, right? It will be incredibly constipated compared to a free-flowing conversation. So it's not as though you can just choose one type of conversational style, one type of approach to a live stream, one type of approach to a radio show, and that's just the best approach, and there are no downsides to it, right? There's a downside to have a free, open conversation, and there's a downside to having a very strictly monitored, only journalistic protocol conversation, right? You can listen to NPR if you don't like Pat McAfee.
McAfee to denounce his friend should have known better by then.
I've never listened to Pat McAfee. I've never had any interest in listening to Pat McAfee, right? He seems to produce a kind of low IQ shows that don't intrigue me.